original Mario and Sonic games were two different platformers that delivered rather different gaming experiences. Yet, I believe these two opposite sides of a coin have a lot more in common gameplay-wise than one might initially think, and I'd like to talk about that for a while. Rather than a strict comparison between these two series, I'd like to talk about gameplay aspects that a lot of people might not think about when playing these games, and how these aspects can influence the gameplay of one another. When Sonic the Hedgehog was first launched, it was advertised as a fast-paced, speeding platformer that could compete with the likes of Nintendo's wildly successful Plumber. Speed was definitely a selling point for the game, and the public came to know Sonic the Hedgehog as a fast-sprinting, loop-running mascot with a fair amount of 90s attitude.
They think he's incredibly fast. Well, what's the hurry, mister? And about his attitude. Smarty pants!
Mario, on the other hand, launched as a simple fun platformer where a player would have to get from one end of the course to the other within the time limit, utilizing a few different power-ups to make the job easier. Speed was not a selling point for the game. In fact, speed was never really mentioned. The enjoyment of playing Mario came more from overcoming the obstacles in your way with precision jumping and expert maneuverability than getting to the flagpole quickly. Now, while the original trilogy of Sonic games don't differ very much in the way of physics, the Mario games do, and to keep this more focused when comparing the two platformers, I'd like to discuss why the original Super Mario Bros. Might make a better comparison to the original Sonic trilogy than the later side-scrolling Mario games. The original Super Mario Bros. Has a much heavier feel to it than its later games, specifically Super Mario Bros. 3 and even more so in Super Mario World. In these games, Mario feels much lighter, and it's easy to control your mid-air trajectory while jumping, which makes it much easier to deal with the precision platforming and more complex level design that come with these games. In the original Super Mario Bros., it's much harder to move Mario mid-jump, and is near impossible to alter the trajectory of a jump done out of a sprint. But since the level design is much simpler than that of Mario 3 and World, it never feels out of place, and in fact, lends itself very well to a great feeling of momentum when moving. Mario is heavy, and it feels like it takes force to get him going, so when he starts running, it's really fun to keep him running. It feels rewarding to keep the momentum going by dodging enemies and obstacles and maintaining that sprint. This isn't something that feels as satisfying in later Mario games, both due to how light they feel, and how often the level design favors slower, more calculated movement from the player. Essentially, it's great fun to play Super Mario Bros. Fast. What's interesting about this is that Mario 1, thanks to that feeling of momentum, contains the type of potential gameplay that Sonic was always talked up about having, even if it isn't as apparent. Sonic, as said before, was always advertised as going fast, but interestingly, a lot of the original game isn't. Sonic doesn't run very fast from a gameplay perspective. His top speed is actually comparable to Mario's in regards to how fast you move across the level. The illusion comes from how big Sonic's sprite is on the screen, and how little you can see in front of you, which, when running at top speed, makes it look like he's covering a lot more ground than he is. There are parts of Sonic when you can go much faster than your standard running speed though. For example, bouncing off of a spring or rolling downhill in a ball can boost you pretty fast, but you aren't really in control for these parts, and it feels more like you're along for the ride than playing the game directly. Sonic 1's speed also suffers from levels such as the Marble Zone and the Labyrinth Zone, two levels that really don't have anything to do with going fast. There is a lot of waiting around in Marble Zone and claustrophobic areas packed with obstacles and enemies. Labyrinth Zone too has the claustrophobic, obstacle-filled environment, but it also has most of the level take place in slow-moving water where you have to wait for air bubbles. Personally, I don't find either of these levels bad by any means. I find them rather fun, actually. They just don't match up with the implied mission statement of Sonic: going fast. In Sonic 2 and 3, however, there are a lot more areas where the game lets you loose and allows you to go fast, much faster than any part in Sonic 1, and with a better feeling of control. Springs or boost pads can launch you through a series of loops or twists and let you enjoy the speed for a few moments. And Sonic 2 even has a speed power-up that further increases how fast you go, not only with these little speed breaks, but also just regularly running around. Sonic 1 has this power-up as well, but it isn't nearly as common. Yet all three of the original Genesis Sonic games do have another few speed bumps that seem to take the fast out of Sonic: the level design and the enemy placement. The design of the levels, paired with how little you can see in front of you, can really deter one from going fast. Most of the time when running through a level at top speed, you'll find yourself heading straight into an enemy you couldn't see coming, or a wall that you need to jump over that you couldn't normally react to, or, worst of all, a spring that sends you speeding back in the direction you came. If I'm supposed to go fast and keep up the momentum, as the game has implied I should, why put so many roadblocks in the way that completely kill the speed? Especially when I can't see them coming. A first-time player going into the classic Sonic games would be pretty discouraged when they find they need to slow things down and progress carefully, lest they lose all their rings from running face-first into a robot they couldn't see. To survive the later levels in Sonic games, a new player would have to play the game slowly and more carefully. They'd have to take it slow in order to properly be aware of the enemies and hazards that the level holds, much like one would expect to play a Mario game. Yet, you don't necessarily need to play the original Super Mario Bros. Like a Mario game, as odd as that sounds. Since the sprite is so much smaller and the field of vision so much greater, you can sprint at full speeds across a level and properly react to what's in front of you, going functionally the same running speed Sonic is going in his own game. If you're skilled at the game, you can see what's coming up and dodge it accordingly with a well-timed jump, or chain of jumps, and keep the momentum going. If you're running at full speeds and get hit by an enemy, or fall into a pit, then that's your own fault. You saw it coming, you just didn't jump in time, or jumped right into it. With Sonic, you can careen right into an enemy, hit a spikes, wall, spring, or bottomless pit just because you were running at full speed. You can't always see it coming, and it certainly isn't your fault, not when you were just doing what Sonic was always so hyped up about doing. You can't really properly enjoy the speed of Sonic on a first playthrough. The speed of Sonic truly shines upon replaying the game, or when you have the level memorized. It encourages and thrives on replaying the level. If you know where the walls are popping up, or where the enemies are, or where to jump at the right time, you can react to them before they even show up. You can sprint at Sonic's maximum speed, or even faster in a ball, dodging around the obstacles that are in your way and competing against yourself for a better time, almost like a racing game. If you hit a wall or run into an enemy, you lose time, and you know that on your next run, now that you know how, you can do better. The game itself is timed, and gives you a score bonus for going faster. There's also a score bonus for the rings you finish with, which you lose when hitting enemies. To maximize that score, you need to go the fastest you can and dodge all of the enemies, not only to minimize your time standing still, but to hold on to the rings you've collected. Ways to finish a level quickly are further improved upon in Sonic 3, where power-ups like the Flame Shield can really change how you progress through a level. You might access a shortcut you otherwise couldn't, or maneuver your way around enemies in ways you couldn't before. This level memorization and encouragement to replay is also very true in the more recent Sonic games, like Sonic Generations. Sonic truly goes fast in these games, and while there are a lot of times you might trip on a ledge or miss the slide timing or run into an enemy or a wall, once you have it all memorized, you'll blow right by. You have to take into account when the best time to use your boost meter is to maximize your speed, and there are even branching paths and shortcuts you can take to improve your time, which is saved and recorded like a racing game, and factors into your rank. These games, both classic and recent, challenge you to go back to the levels over and over again. They encourage you to replay them and to top your personal bests, and perhaps even the bests of others. Super Mario Bros. Doesn't have this encouragement. Once you beat a level, you've beaten it. The levels do give you a time bonus, which factors into your score, but the levels don't push you to go any faster or encourage you to replay them any quicker. You can get a better score, yeah, but the score doesn't really do much in Mario 1. In Sonic 2, you can snag some continues if you get a high enough score, which are extremely helpful and really encourage you to bolt through a level as fast as you can. While it's definitely fun to run fast with the feeling of momentum in Super Mario Bros., it's not an integral part of the game as a whole. In Sonic, when you know the obstacles that are ahead, you can truly get the fast-paced, speed-filled experience that Sonic was always advertised as having. I guess the whole point of comparing these two was to bring forth these not often thought about aspects of gameplay. A lot of people don't like classic Sonic games because the encouragement to go fast is contradicted by the game's level design and enemy placement, when really, it's the replayability of these levels and the racing game-like method of timing yourself where the speed of Sonic truly shines. It's also quite interesting that the level and ease of speed most players would expect from a Sonic game, yet isn't truly present, is available right in its competitor's first platforming game, so long as you have the reaction time and the skill to avoid the obstacles that the game throws at you.